CEO Wisdom Pod, regtech edition with Dilip Mohapatra. He is CEO and founder at Cognitive View. We're going to talk about regtech, startup, CEO-ship, foundership, everything in between, maybe AI if we're lucky. Dilip, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit more about your company, Cognitive View.
Yeah, thanks, Charles, for the opportunity here. So my name is Dilip Mohapatra. I founded Cognitive View and the CEO of Cognitive View as well. So we are a company that is focusing on compliance and risk. And I saw a huge opportunity where there's been a lot of compliance gaps, and we wanted to fix it using technology. So that's why we ventured into it. But I am a global citizen. I spend a lot of time between Australia, UK, and US. And my background is coming from technology, working with a lot of the large banks, financial services into compliance, risk, as well as large transformation project. I was running a IBM channel business in the past and had a lot of experiences in the regulated industry, specifically seeing how companies have been using a lot of manual processes and seeing the opportunity how actually we can bring some change. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Glad to have you on. Where did the idea came from?
So, sorry, the question is the name?
The idea of the business, where did it come
from? The idea, okay, right. So I think we have seen a couple of major industry-wide crackdown or challenges. So one of them is the Royal Banking Commission inquiry that's set up by the government in Australia. So they find a huge gap between how companies are engaging with the customers in terms of how they sell their product, how they service their customers, and they paid billions of dollars in fine, reputational damage, and whatnot. But we quickly realized that this is not an Australia-specific problem. It's a massive problem in UK, a massive problem in US. For example, Wells Fargo paid $3.7 billion fine in December because of the miscommunication and expectation gap. So we wanted to basically, we started talking to a few customers, and they kind of acknowledged this is a big problem for them, and they really have no way to understand what's going on. So that's why we started Cognitive View. Basically, the idea was can we use technologies like AI to really monitor what's going on in the front office when you're engaging with customers, because that's where there's a lot of rules and regulations that come from regulatory bodies like FINRA, SEC, and we want to give them the ability that they can actually make the right decision at the right time.
Checking the packages here on the website, so $500 monthly for an enterprise. Is that per license, per user?
Yes, so basically we have a core platform that is focusing on compliance monitoring. And what we did recently, and that's very custom pricing, because every time, every company is different in terms of how many people they have. And this pricing is about a complaints co-pilot that we launched recently. So we have the co-pilot concept comes with the idea of the generative AI, that we can actually look into a lot of the conversations that's going on, but how about give AI the ability to really scan through a lot of these customer conversations, look into your existing complaints data, and come up with a set of recommendations or observations so that you can actually do something about it. So this co-pilot is, yes, it's a user-based pricing. And the idea was to really launch quickly so that we can get a lot of feedback, just like ChatGPT was out there in the market, so that you can get the feedback, you can improve the capabilities based on the feedback. So it's a user-based pricing, yes.
Hey, pretty cool. And starts at $100 a month with the standard. How do you sell a product that's about prevention? Because I mean, the 3.7 billion fine Well, the first question is like, was this budgeted? Probably not. 3.7 starts to be quite big even for a company of that size. But how do you tell them, like, guys, this could happen, this could shut your company down? How do you go with selling a product that's about prevention rather than fixing or healing a current problem?
Yeah, I think first of all, it starts with understanding what's going on or having the visibility. And most of the time, the problem is that they just don't know what's going on and they don't have the tools. So yes, it is prevention, because if you can prevent that specific breach happening, that's saving you that damage or fine. So, and most of the time, what we say is um, that there is a kind of responsive action when uh, one company gets the fine in the industry and others does take a notice of it, and or there is a regulatory change suddenly coming up. FINRA comes up with a specific change, and based on that change, there is a deadline that you need to act on it now. What that means is you have multiple means to achieve that goal. Either you can hire a bunch of people, put a lot of processes around it, or you can actually use technology to really automate that process. So we have seen that the companies who are a bit forward thinking, they mostly go with the technology based approach rather than just hiring more and more people. Most of the time, the fines, the reputational damage, these are the factors that actually drives that decision making.
Right. You sell to many industries, it seems. Banking could be one. Insurance could be another. See Australia, US as market. So who do you focus on? And why did you pick these niches in particular?
I think we are mostly focusing on the regulated industry. So the top three industries that we have been initially latched onto is the financial services, utilities, and healthcare, because these are the three industries that has a most amount of customer interaction or engagement. For example, let's say if you are let's say a energy company and you have customers, they need to pay their bills for electricity bills, and we have seen that the inflation has really caused grief with a lot of customers as they're seeing the energy bills that are going up. So they're not happy with it, they go and complain. Or telcos, there's a big problem that customers are not happy with the providers. So that's where when there's a lot of friction, we see that things are not smooth, and that's where compliance breach happen or customer experience is not that great. So we kind of tend to focus on those industries first, where there is a most amount of friction happening, means the chances of the compliance gap and customer expectation gaps are higher, basically. So yeah.
So yeah, scale and so like the probability of an unnoticed complaint happening, or the probability of them getting into trouble magnified by the amount of the potential fine per person, I guess. And obviously companies that historically it happened to them, I do think that's a strong selling factor. It's like, hey, it happened to you before, you should believe me because of that. So yeah, I understand that. Now I want to talk about AI and GPT in itself. Is it, are you like basically plugged in the API of GPT and using it to understand loads of text and data, analyzing that and helping out the company figure out like where they could get into trouble, or just pointing out specific instances of either meetings or text conversations, signaling to them that they could have a potential problem with that, deleting that and making sure it doesn't happen again? Is that how it works?
No, I think I guess when it comes to LLM, large language model, it inherently provides you the generation capabilities. That's kind of the default capabilities. But what we normally find is that it's a powerful engine, but it's not the most accurate engine to predict something. So, for example, when I compare the generative AI with discriminative AI, where you actually had a set of data, then you are kind of predicting what's the right value compared to trying to guess the next word. So there's two kind of fundamentally different approaches. So, and we have to kind of define the best way to bring these two things together to see how it can be used in enterprise, because enterprise regulated industries is all about accuracy, consistency. And the second thing is focus on the use cases that, for example, doesn't need to, in the first step, doesn't need to do things for you, but it can help you to make that decision faster. For example, let's say we looked into a co-pilot concept, which is nowadays is a cool concept with AI. So we looked into the individual personas, from our capability standpoint, the problems that we're solving is mostly for two type of persona. One is a compliance persona, and second is a customer complaint persona. So then we thought about what is there, if I break down a customer complaint persona, what are the kind of things they do? They like to understand the complaint when that comes in. They have a set of questions to really get deep into it. Second is that they want to resolve the complaint. In that case, they also have a set of reasoning questions to understand what are the ways that this can be resolved, what has been done in this regard in the industry. If the complaint has been escalated, how has the ombudsman body made decision for such complaints in the past? And the final part is, how do I respond to this complaint? Now, we are not trying to respond to the customer on their behalf, but we're giving them all the insight, the knowledge, the tips, so that with the right set of evidence, that they can make that decision. So so that's where we kind of conceptualize based on the persona. And for compliance, for example, the three things that we look into is, what is the regulatory change, and what are my incident and breach, what has gone wrong, and then how do I respond to it? So that two fundamental concept, and then based on the existing data capabilities that we already have, we have modeled it. But it doesn't go and respond to you on your behalf, but it helps you to make that decision. So that's what I see as a true co-pilot, then completely taking it over. Because as we are focusing on regulated industries, I don't think we can completely do that, and no customers will be comfortable that AI completely taking over and running the whole thing for them. But if AI can augment and make them better decision, reduce the time, reduce the cost, reduce the risk, that is, I think, the right approach.
How many paid customers vs free customers do you have right now?
We have currently 12 customers. So they are like insurance companies, some large law firms with the global presence. And we're currently working with also around 5 pilots with some of the major banks. So yeah, we're kind of an early stage, but we're building up pretty quickly.
Right. And where do you want to take the company in the next couple of years?
The idea is to really be the best company in the regtech space. And we have been building our company and technology stack with a platform-centric vision. So, and we want to give the tools and framework that not only we can automate the compliance, but we want to give the companies the ability that when they want to fix a problem, they have all the tools they can go and custom build it. So we want to be a global company and aim to be the top 10 in the regtech space. So regtech is our space, so that's where we want to be the best company. Yeah.
You feel you can accomplish that with a small team and automation, or do you have to hire more people to get there?
I think the beauty of SaaS companies is that you can achieve a lot with a smaller team. I feel that we do need to hire people more into machine learning skills, AI skills, uh, or skills in the space of adapting a specific domain, which is more like a business/data analyst. So those are the two skills that we think we would need more and more support, because so it's about, okay, how we replicate the technology or adapt the technology for a variety of regulatory requirement in US, for example. Now we are doing financial services. We need to do specific healthcare compliance or manufacturing compliance. As we try to replicate, I think that's where the opportunities are. And also we would need to really expand team, because end of the day, we need to really learn about those domains and adapt it into AI. So yeah, expanding new team members, expansion is definitely one of the core strategies as well. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, as a technical founder, like who will scale the sales internally? Will you hire someone for that? Like, what's your plan to get more customers?
So we currently have we have direct sales, but we have been predominantly focusing on channel sales so far. So we work with a number of strategic channel partners to scale at this stage. But again, we can't focus on the mid-market space, or I think hiring direct sales is one of the key strategies that we have this year and next year. Definitely that is something we're looking as well.
Perfect. And where can people find out more about you and Cognitive View, Dilip?
Yeah, I think cognitiveview.com is the website. They can find more about it. And my email is dilip@cognitiveview.com. So if someone wants to reach out to have a chat, happy to do that as well.